the jury reached a verdict?
Yes, Your Honor. The jury finds in favor of the Poppin' Loch Ness Monster. Oh my gosh, you guys! I finally won something.
Baby, slide down that pole, baby. Baby, show me who you fucking is. Baby, slide down that pole.
Can I get 2 scratches for my homeboy Jesus? Better give him one more.
We're back.
We're back.
I'm Marshmallow sitting here with Hitler. Say, Heil Hitler.
Heil Hitler.
And we're drunk on a weeknight. Gentlemen, kind of sitting with the tried and true myself tonight, drinking just a can of Miller Lite. Very simple. You know what? They sell these in grocery stores now. Isn't that insane?
It's actually a thing. They've done that for a while now. But Miller Lite, as always, as discussed, it's a fine Pilsner beer. And first brewed in Fort Worth, Texas. Texas proud.
Really puts the pills in her.
Boom.
Gentlemen, we're sitting here again. We're coming up on our fantasy football season. But, Hitler and I were just simply discussing, boy, there seems to be some players kind of getting a little bit overranked in our opinions. Players going way too fucking high. We're talking Cheech and Chong levels high. What do you think, Hitler?
Yeah, I have to agree there. By the way, did have a little dish earlier this evening called the Cheech and Chong. Delicious, if I do say so myself.
And I'm sure our fans love that. But here we are. We're both going to give you...
Everybody needs to know something.
Everyone needs to know, yes. Everyone needs to know our top 5 players being overdrafted. These are the guys on our do not draft list based on where they're going today. Let someone else take them going this high. Now, if they fall, take them. But at this point, do not take them where they're going right now in drafts.
Yeah, so basically, if you're listening to this, probably target these guys early because more than likely, we are dead wrong.
Amen, my friend. Hitler, number 5.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Ooh.
I think he's a huge talent. Do I think he deserves to be drafted number 7 overall?
Number 7 overall, 4 at wide receiver.
Fuck that.
Seems to be very high. Now, he was very good last year and he definitely overperformed, but that seems awfully high.
Yes. Not exactly a great quarterback there in Houston.
This was, not exactly a good quarterback, kind of a bad defense. But I'm sorry. The bad defense beginning of the year.
Right.
And at that point, he was amazing because he had all these comeback points.
Right.
Second half of the season, the defense got a lot better, and then his numbers came way down.
Mm-hmm.
Not telling what's going to happen now. And this year, I think people are expecting the most out of him. Like he's going to be the new Dez Bryant, but that seems awfully optimistic.
Yeah, and exactly. I don't see how someone takes him over Dez Bryant, over A.J. Green, over Jordy Nelson. I'm not necessarily incredibly high on these other guys, but I don't like him that much.
And he's black.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with anything?
Well, it means you don't like him as much.
No, that's not true.
You were telling me earlier. Why would you now while everyone's listening, you're embarrassing me, Hitler. Number 4.
My number 4 or your number 4?
Your number 4.
Okay. So maybe someone else we've talked about before on our podcast, David Johnson.
David Johnson.
Mm-hmm. I just don't think he finishes as the number 7 overall.
Very close to make my list.
And I don't know that he's worth a round 1 pick.
I think he's currently going 9th overall as the number 5 running back.
Mm-hmm.
It's close to making my list, but at the same time, though, he's awfully close to that. If you want to take him in the first round, I wouldn't be against it, especially late first round. But to me, he is an early second rounder.
Yeah, just to me, there's a couple of other guys that I would actually probably rather
just investing
take
a lot into him.
Yeah, I mean, he's going 14 picks before Jamal Charles on average right now. I know we're talking about two different things with injury versus.
It's the
Yeah.
upside. It's the recency bias.
Yeah. But it's just it kind of shocks me. Like late first round, I might shoot for the home run.
That seems
Early first round, I want a safe bet. Late first round, I might just kind of give it a toss up and just try and go for gold, baby.
Didn't make my list, but I do agree with you. Probably going a little bit too high.
Yeah.
All right, now to my number 5.
Okay, let's hear it.
Go with a quarterback.
Okay.
Russell Wilson.
I think you're wrong.
Well, he's currently going as the number 3 quarterback, which I think is way too high.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to be very good next year.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to be a top 5 quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I do not like him at the very top of the 5th round.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm a guy who likes to wait on quarterback, so this is a little bit more of a personal bias, because I think as good as Russell Wilson is going to be, I would much rather have Carson Palmer 2 rounds later.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Well,
I just
actually,
think he's going too high. Now,
you
again,
might be right.
I think he's going to be a top 5 quarterback. I just do not like him going in the 5th round.
Yeah, well,
But that again is personal bias. I don't like quarterbacks super high.
meh. You're not wrong for feeling that way.
I'm never wrong. I'm marshmallow.
I just don't know that it's worth even mentioning, because I basically what you just told me
not
was
worth mentioning.
basically what you just told me is you really don't like the exact spot he's being drafted in, but you have no problem with him going like 8 picks later.
I like him going 2 rounds later. That's just a personal bias at quarterback.
Okay.
I just think too many quarterbacks are overdrafted to begin with.
But we're talking. This is not like the years where we saw quarterbacks going rounds in seriously like 2 to 3 quarterbacks in round 1. This is not one of those years.
No, I agree.
So,
But still think that's too high. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to target Russell Wilson in a lot of drafts, but just not that high.
all right. Okay.
I think Seattle offense overall is going to be very underrated.
Okay.
Number 4,
All right. Let's hear it.
tight end,
Okay.
Jordan
God damn it.
Reed.
Son of a bitch.
He's going as the number 2.
How is that not your number 1 overall most overdrafted?
Well, we'll probably, maybe when we get back to your list, maybe we'll talk about him a little bit more in depth. But for me, going way too high. Now, again, personal bias, the same situation with Wilson. He is definitely the number 2 tight end, but not that high. I like him way later. Where the fuck is he going? He is currently going as in fucking 3rd round. That is crazy. This is a guy with horrible injury risk, especially a turnover at tight end. It seems like there's a new fucking number 2 tight end every goddamn year.
And he's a faggot.
And he likes to suck dick. Can't have it. Can't win with it.
That's true.
So, again, I think he's definitely the number 2, but 3rd round is fucking insane.
I find it really strange that he's being drafted 20 picks before Greg Olsen.
Yes, exactly my point. Yes.
Sense to me
Well, he's definitely better than Greg Olsen. He's not that much better than Greg Olsen. And neither of them should be going where they're getting drafted right now. Your number 3.
Okay, my number 3, we've actually already mentioned him. Jordy Nelson.
Jordy Nelson.
Yeah, and that comes from not necessarily that I don't like Jordy. That comes from I'm a little bit scared.
Yes.
And
Mid-second?
Therefore, I think
Injuries?
he's being
You don't think
overdrafted.
enough risk is being built?
I think Jordy Nelson, number 17 overall, is someone saying, "Hey, Jordy Nelson's back, exactly like he used to be," and that's not the case. He's had an ACL tear since then. It just doesn't work out. Now we've seen what Adrian Peterson's done, but what about all the stories that ACL tears in a career? So those are just the things I'm thinking of, and I'm not willing to take that risk in the 2nd round. Maybe if you tell me that Jordy falls to me in the 3rd, then I'm all over it. But where he is right now, I think he's an overdrafted.
I don't disagree. He did not make my top 5, but absolutely, I think being a little overdrafted. Number 2 for you, Hitler.
Number 2 for me is Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson.
Yeah, so he's going 13 overall right now.
Very smart.
I just don't see how someone. And you know what? I like Allen Robinson. I really do. I just don't know that I would take him over guys like Alshon Jeffrey and Brandon Marshall and maybe even Sammy Watkins, Mike Evans. I look. I think he's very comparable with a lot of those guys, but I think based on him being the 13th overall pick, Sammy Watkins, for example, being the number 24, I think all of those guys should hover right around the 18 mark a little bit more closely. I don't know that I'm willing to go early second round on Allen Robinson. And I know we're getting a little nitpicky here, early second round versus another. But you know that if he's on average going 13, that means there's people targeting him in the late first.
That is
not something.
It's very interesting that you say. I would say, well, I'm not going to say much because I'm going to hold off a little bit because he might get brought up on my list. But Allen Robinson is my number 3.
Interesting.
So I also think he's getting way overdrafted. I think I spoke to him about earlier a couple weeks back where that I thought he had his career year last year, and people are buying those stats this year.
Right.
I am firmly against buying last year's stats. I don't think that's repeatable.
Right.
I don't think he's going to get nearly as many yards or touchdowns.
Right.
There's just zero chance he's going to end as the top 6 wide receiver.
Right.
Still like him probably as a top 12 guy, but that's fucking crazy.
Well, and the other thing that I wanted to bring up too, and sorry to cut you off, but there's guys like Amari Cooper and Demaryius Thomas pretty far down on that list comparatively too, and I just don't see how you draft. I don't see how you draft Allen Robinson nearly 20 picks before Demaryius
Allen
Thomas.
Robinson or Mike Evans?
I'm not going to go there with you.
I don't need you to put anything on the board. I'm just like, but my point is, doesn't that sound awfully close?
It does.
They're 5 picks. They're a whole round apart, and Mike Evans is going as the number 11th wide receiver, late second.
Mm-hmm.
So that's more of my issue. I feel like they're much closer, and yet they're not being drafted as such.
Right, and not necessarily that I have a problem with Allen Robinson. It's just I don't feel like he's worth targeting earlier if you can get the quote-unquote same player in the third round.
Interesting. Number 2.
Okay, let's hear it.
Lamar Miller.
I think you're stupid.
Been talking about him a lot lately. I think he's being way overdrafted. I think people have way too much hope and not enough risk built into his draft stock. Lamar Miller is going in the early second round, 16 overall, number 8 running back. I think that's way too high. This is a guy who has always been decent in Miami, but never great. And people are extrapolating way too much that he's going to come and be the new Arian Foster. He's going to have to be Arian Foster to be the 8th best running back. It's not going to happen. When was the last guy? Who's the best wide running back who changed teams?
I can't think of.
Exactly my point. Like there's zero chance. That's never been the case.
Yeah.
Steven Jackson went to Atlanta. Was he at top 12?
No.
Was our RG was?
Ooh, I got one for you though. Frank Gore. He finished in the top 12.
Good point.
And he
I'll
was
take
old.
that. But he was not drafted as the 8th best running back.
But he did exactly the same.
I think that makes him the 14th best running back.
Right. So here's my thing on Lamar Miller, and we can move on. I think he's being drafted accurately because once you extrapolate the yards per carry to a system that's going to feed him the rock a little bit more, he carries a lot more of that value.
I just cannot see myself ever taking Lamar Miller, even his potential upside, over the likes of Jamal Charles, Eddie Lacy, and LaShawn McCoy. That's crazy to me.
See, I just think there's less questions with him, actually.
I think there's more.
I think he's the same guy
point is,
with a different uniform.
I think the Lamar Miller in your head is not the Lamar Miller in actuality.
No, the Lamar
The
Miller.
Lamar Miller, you haven't seen that Lamar Miller ever.
Yeah, because he finished as the number 6 running back last year on an offense that gave him the ball like 10 times a game.
Not going to happen.
Okay. Well,
All right, let's
shut
move
up.
on to your number one.
My number
Number one. Uno.
Jordan Reed.
Interesting.
He was my number one, so I was a little pissed off when you said him earlier.
I stole him from
Like I was saying earlier, I don't get how you take him number 28 overall.
you. Yeah.
That
it's
is
way too
dangerously
fucking
close
high.
to round 2.
Yes.
Are you kidding me? Jimmy Graham in his prime was going in like the second.
Yes. Well, he had a shit ton. Now, all means, if you extrapolate what Jordan Reed did at the end of the season, so many yards, so many touchdowns, so athletic. For a full season of that, he is the number 2 guy. But even if he's the number 2 guy, I can't see him going this high.
Are you telling me, though, that he deserves to go within 16 picks of Rob Gronkowski? They are not even close.
Actually, yeah. Last year they were close.
No, not from a reliability standpoint.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I think a lot of people think Jordan Reed is so injury prone, but Gronk is also out many games every season. It's just you have to ride that wave a little bit, knowing that he's probably going to miss a couple games.
Yeah,
but
Gronk
yes, that's why I don't
out.
like either of them. I've said before, like when I talked about Jordan Reed, I don't like any tight end that high. Every single tight end is going too high.
That is true.
So
I don't. Rob Gronkowski, I feel like, is an exception. Just because I subscribe to the best player available theory, and I feel like Rob Gronkowski
there is some value in that.
Within that strategy, it could work. So that's my thoughts on Jordan Reed. I don't think he deserves to be anywhere close to that. And honestly, the bigger problem I have is that he's roughly 20 picks higher than Greg Olsen, and that makes no sense to me. I feel like they're a lot closer to the same player than he is with
Gronk, Jordan Reed, all these tight ends going so high. I think by taking them, you're not automatically winning or not automatically losing. If you take them, you certainly give yourself an advantage at that specific slot. But what it means is you have to hit every other selection. You can't miss your 3rd or 4th or 5th rounder. They have to be studs for Gronk to matter. And if you do, you're going to find yourself in the championship game. But if you miss, you fucked up because you're now really hurting at running back or wide receiver.
Or if either of those 2 guys who typically do get hurt.
Yes.
So
and therefore, that's where you lose that value, and you're going to be really playing behind the 8 ball, and everyone else is deeper than you.
Yeah, agreed. So you're number 1.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Interesting. He made my list.
Number 7 overall, number 4 wide receiver. I do not like him that high. We talked, like you said, you talked about him earlier, but I think between that defense, between that new offense, I think his numbers that fell off. I think people are expecting way too much. As I said before, way too high. We've already gone into it.
Yeah, we have. Truthfully,
I think now again. I think he's definitely a number 1. But if you want to take him middle of the fucking 1st round, you're fucking insane.
Yeah, there's no reliability there. Truthfully, he could finish as a top 12 guy, but honestly, I think that's a stretch.
What's the best Andre Johnson ever did?
Not that well.
I mean, close to that, but that was something that was tried and true. I think this is just so much new hotness. He's sexy, and he was healthy last year.
Right.
And I think that's just so cyclical. Like, there's just no chance that him repeating that. You're buying last year's stats. And hoping, not only that, but you're hoping that it doubles because he's really only good for half a season.
Yeah.
And you're hoping you get a full season of that. And the chance that he does that is negligible, and that he's going to have to be that to be worth that value.
Right. We've already, I've already spat fire at DeAndre Hopkins, and I think we've covered enough. So,
well, I guess we're gonna call it an early night.
Yeah, I guess so. It's your top 5, my top 5. We've covered both of those.
We'll take it all back and
guys, it's
what?
like every time.
What's the fucking? How does that happen? What is the coincidence?
You know what?
What are the odds?
You know what it is? It's you leave the light on outside the office, and people think
hold
that they can
on
just
there.
swing on by.
God damn it! Hold your horses.
Jesus Christ, man!
All right, hold on. Let me go get it. Holy shit! Come on, it
Hey, bro.
is Rob goddamn Gronkowski.
Oh my god, I can't even believe it.
Hey,
bros, what's up, man?
Rob Gronkowski, it is great to have you. We were literally just about to walk out the door, but we can always make time for you.
Bro, so glad you're still here. I just decided to stop on by, and hey, I'm glad. And I see beer on the table. I'm all in it, bro. Hey,
Cheers, my
to
friend.
that. I love beer, man.
I like
So
when
what
it's
you
cold.
got for me?
Do you mind if we ask you a few questions?
I got time for like 4 or 5 questions.
A beer question? Is that
a
cool?
beer question is cool.
All right, let's do this. Tom Brady.
What about him?
He's giving up his appeal.
He's my boy.
He's giving. Are you going to miss him those first 4 games? How much do you
Nah.
think this is going to affect your fantasy value?
No way, bro. Johnny Garoppolo, he's just got to toss up the ball, and I got it. I got it, bro. 3 touchdowns a game first 4 weeks. Easy. Easy. Check it out. Rob Gronkowski right here.
Interesting. Okay, well, what do you think about Bob Kraft? Has already kind of basically given up some draft picks and $1 million. It's really going to hurt the bottom line.
Look, bro, me and Robbie, we were on a yacht together. So many strippers, bro. So many strippers. I pulled each one aside.
Awesome.
You would never believe the kind of package these girls.
What'd you guys talk about?
Look, dude, 401ks on these girls are awful. Awful.
What?
There's no intelligence with these girls whatsoever, bro. I talked them through their 401ks. Sally, Jimmy. Oh yeah, he was there too. So yeah, dude, so many strippers on the boat.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
There's like zero intelligence. It's like these girls don't even go to college.
Do you are you at all in contact with Aaron Hernandez?
No way, bro. I heard that on the inside, he like flipped a little bit, bro. He's like totally gay now. I don't touch that. There's no way.
No gay, huh?
Yeah, no way. Rob Gronk is going gay.
Tell me, I've heard so many stories, but I don't know any of the facts. What's up with the party bus? Is it as rocking as I hear?
Bro, so much tail on those buses, man. I can't even tell you. It's like for all these girls, we're going to be audited by the IRS. I told them everything they need to know about getting out of that shit. It's so cool. They appreciate it. I appreciate what they do for me.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just telling you, man. Marshmallow, you got to give me a chance to talk over here. I'm just telling you. Hey, we talk about the laws and litigation surrounding tax fraud. They get paid under the table. What do you want me to tell them? They got to pay the taxes, bro.
Okay, I guess I just thought you were going to talk about more about like the liquor and the parties and stuff. But that's fascinating. I'm surprised you sound very knowledgeable.
I mean, dude, we pound the rum and the tequila and the beer, but I mean, that's not the interesting stuff. Like, anybody can do that. You're doing that right now. You're sitting behind a fucking desk, bro. Who gives a shit? Man, I come in here trying to get this interview going, and you just sabotage.
Gronk. I don't mean any offense. Well, so let me a little bit more lighthearted. I think our listeners want to listen to something a little bit more of the fine. I hear you've been frequenting, had a few ladies in your life these years. Some women of the pornography persuasion. Some. Yeah, I believe the term is porn star.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing wrong. I'm more like if you can go into any more details about how awesome that might be.
Dude, everybody's got a job. I got a job. I play football. They got a job. They fuck dudes. Who gives a shit, man? They're flexible. I'm an athlete. It works out pretty well together. We both work out as part of our jobs. I mean, we both stay in shape together. It's like, hey, let's go do some cardio in the sack, if you know what I mean. It's kind of just one of those things, bro. But look, I try to tell you, I get these girls, they're halfway through college. They don't even know how to do their tuition reimbursement. Oh. They don't even know how to I can't even, like, financial aid on these girls. They don't even know what
they got big tits, right?
I mean, yeah, big tits, but they got bigger problems. I mean, shit, bro. I can't even tell you, man. Like, they're concerned with, like, the tequila shots and all shit like that, but they gotta turn in, like, their FAFSA forms, man. They got to get that financial aid in check, or they are not going to get their degrees.
Okay. Well, thank you, Gronk. This has
I mean, you're welcome, bro.
been quite
so
eye-opening.
happy to be here. I think I
It was
probably
like
owe
a-
you a 6-pack by now.
It was like a beer for the road.
Dude, I already packed up like 6 on the car, so I think we're good.
All right, well, Gronk, come on by anytime.
Dude, check you later, bro.
All right, well,
All right.
I was eye-opening.
Yeah.
He really knows his paperwork. I gotta say, like, I did not expect
Seems
that.
really smart for a dude who went to Arizona.
Yes, he seems to know how to really party and fucking do his taxes.
Dude, he's got that shit on lock.
Fucking good for him.
I mean, hey, whatever works. But look, the surprise interview was great. We covered a top 5.
There's a lot of surprise interviews lately.
Like 3 in a row.
Super thankful. Like man downstairs. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you know what? We probably should send a gift to Janice. She's been hooking us up with those interviews.
You mean the secretary of Satan?
I mean, sure. I don't know what direction you're going with that.
Neither do I.
Okay.
But
for
everyone here,
including Gronk,
in the Drunk on a Weeknight headquarters, ladies and gentlemen, from the bottom of my heart, go fuck yourself.